Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Dykhuis. I am a labor and delivery nurse by day, and all of the other times I read books. So the last I saw you was the end of my June reads. Yeah, I get very confused about the months when I do these. So I did my June reads and my June vlogging where my sister wrapped up my books. So July was I had to fulfill my book clubs, and I have the buzzword challenge that I'm doing that I had to try to fulfill those, but those are honestly back burner, which the prompts for those were technology on the cover and punctuation in the title. So I did get those. So I did get those, but also I just grabbed books. I did not read the books I thought I was going to necessarily, because there have been so many good summer releases, but I had such a good reading month. I have to count how many 5-star books I had. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know when I've ever had a month this good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had 7 5 reads and then a 4.5. So good. The month was so good. All right, so it started with Summerween. So I have some different type genres in here too. But we started the month off with Beautiful Stranger. So Beautiful Bastard was a book that I had read last month. And this one just it was fine. It was totally readable. I just didn't love the characters and the tension as much. So I gave this one 3 stars. The spice was good. I was just kind of annoyed by the characters because it felt very okay, we know what's going to happen, and it wasn't that fun getting there. You know what I mean? And then a book that I have been this has been staring at me from my shelf, and I'm also afraid to read it. So A Fate Inked in Blood was the first of this duology. So this is the second. This is Viking, she's touched by the gods. So she's the underdog and then suddenly has these powers. And maybe she's been touched by 2 gods, maybe not. There's also romance in here. So this is a romantasy Viking. So there's a lot of war, but I loved it. It took me a second to get into this one because I read the other one a few years ago. So I kind of forgot who all the characters were. But it was so good. So good. So if you're looking for a duology, a romantasy duology, if you like Vikings and gods, this is the one for you. It was so good. There's a lot of betrayal, and you don't know who's good and who's bad, or who's great. Good times. I keep telling myself I need to be done with these books, but I listened to Dark Restraint. I don't know if I have a picture of the cover. Oh, there it is. So Dark Restraint is another of the Mount Olympus books. This is a Katie Robert book. I just don't know if there's anything to say. It's Ariadne. She is in love with a Minotaur. So they randomly have sex in the beginning, and then she marries Dionysus. But they never address if the Minotaur is a monster. That feels that could have been the whole storyline, was that he's a monster and not a human. They kind of act like he's a human, so I guess that's what we're doing. So that was, what did I give that one? I gave that one 3 stars. I need to stop reading those books. So if you could remember to tell me to stop reading those books, that'd be great. Then I listened to The Sirens. This is by the author of Wayward, so Amelia Hart. Wayward is such a good book. This was also good. I wouldn't give it 5 stars. So I think I gave it 4.25 stars. Very exact. So this is a multi-point of view, multiple generational point of view. So we're following girls, I think it's the 15 or 1600s. whose like mom went away, and now they're being like sent to the Americas because something happened. Some man did not survive their attentions. And then like current day, this girl, her life is falling apart, and she goes to see her sister, and her sister's missing, and there's all sorts of stuff. So there's some sirens involved. It was very good. I liked it a lot. I would very much look forward to reading more books by her. And it was an automatic read because Wayward was so good. So good. The Tenant by Frida McFadden. This was my attempt at doing some Summerween. So I knew that I could just bang out an audiobook really quick by her. This book was incredibly frustrating to me because I just really feel like all of it could be solved really easily by just putting a camera in the house, and then this guy would have known exactly what was going on in his house. Instead, he was just accusing people and getting deeper and deeper, and so that just kind of annoys me when like it's not a smart mystery. Like, it's fine, it kept me reading, it was a perfect way to pass the time, but I'm not gonna recommend it to people. So I did give it a 3.25. Yeah, so our main character is fired from his like corporate job, but he has a huge brownstone he's got to like pay the mortgage for, and he just proposed to his girlfriend. So she says like, let's get a tenant. Well, they get a tenant who seems perfect until she is not, and there's like all this confrontation between them, and it's like, is she actually doing it though? I called it from miles away, but it still played out interestingly. All right, and then another like kind of a classic that I've never read or watched the movie, Coraline. So this is the Neil Gaiman's like short story. Is it a children's book? It's not really for children, but I feel like it's like marketed towards children. So Coraline goes through a secret door in her house that has like an alternate universe with nefarious characters. So like her parents are like on the other side, but they have buttons for eyes. It's very creepy. It's like a 4-hour audiobook. I mean, I feel like it was exactly what I expected it to be, but yeah, more horror than anything. I gave it a 3. And then for Sharon Says So Book Club, we read Madness. So this is the story of the Crownsville asylum that started as like an African-American only asylum and then grew to be integrated. And it closed down like in the early 1900s. Late 1900s? It was like in use for like 100+ years. Honestly, it might have been like the 1960s or something. Oh yeah. Ooh. They still had a superintendent till 2003. So this was written very well. So unlike other historical fiction, like this was actually like told in story form. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like stats and things. It was just like story after story after story. So obviously some horrific things happened in asylums. A lot of like TB patients were kept in asylums. And especially with them being a Black only asylum to start with, like the people working there had to really just like use like their own resources to care for these people. And then it was really interesting to see how it went through time, like as like white people were added. And it sounds like the grounds were pretty extensive and buildings were used for all sorts of different things. So there's stories of some people who like came and went, because sometimes they did the right thing and were like actually treating people. And a lot of the people that worked there treated these people like they were their family. So this was very interesting. I gave this a 4.25 star. And yeah, there were lots of abuses as well, but also some really heartening stories. So that's that one. Then I listened to, so again, this was like this was also in Summerween. I felt like that fit. Like Madness. That feels like that fits Summerween. Then I listened to Defending Jacob. This has been on my TBR for such a long time. I don't even know how. Oh, I think it was like a book club bag that you could get from Herrick. So I was like, well, that's gotta be good. It doesn't have to be good. I did give it a 3.5 star. Like it was readable, but it wasn't great. Our characters were not very likable. Our main character is like an assistant DA, and his son is accused of murdering someone. And I don't know, it didn't seem very like I wasn't conflicted, because his kid seemed like a bad dude, and then he like helps him cover it up, and then it happens again, you know, like, I don't know. It was not that great. So maybe don't read it. Maybe don't. It's also very old. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. I'm trying to get this done before my day starts. Alani for the win. And now here starts my string of amazing books. So, Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is a V.E. Schwab book. This is like Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Darker Shade of Magic. Like, V.E. Schwab writes like creepy fantasy, which honestly is my favorite. I love it so much. It's like Vampire Diaries and books, you know, like it's like ominous, and like not, the characters are not necessarily like lovable characters. Like, you like them, but they're doing bad shit. So this is a book about vampires. It is sapphic. So women loving women, and if you don't like that, then this is not the book for you. We start with a woman in like I think it's like 1500s Italy. Shall we see? 1532, Spain. So it starts in Spain. And then we have like that storyline, and then we have a current day storyline of like a college student who parties a little too hard and then wakes up and is like, WTF. It's so good. And then there's multiple, like, there's people throughout to tie them together. So I don't want to give too much more away, but this was so good. I honestly like took my time reading this because I did not want it to be over. And it's gorgeous too. So every time that like the character changes, there's like this beautiful page in between, and I don't know, it was just like so pleasing. I even love her font. So this was a 5-star. I was kind of wondering how it was going to wrap up, and then bam, she did it. She tied it all together. She wrapped it up. It was so good. And then because that was like vampire and I've been reading like creepy books, then I decided to completely pivot and go summer, like hard summer, because guys, we're living in August. Summer is going to be over soon, and it's going to be winter. It's going to be dead winter here. Because I don't know if you know that, but it goes August winter. I mean, it's really September winter, but there's a week of fall sometimes. Carly Fortune, she is 75% for me at this point. So she has 4 books. This is her 4th. Her second was kind of a miss for me. The other 3 are 5 stars. So I don't know what she did to get the formula right again. This is so good. So our first book, they're not a series, but the first book she wrote is Every Summer After. It's being made into a TV show called Every Year After. Not sure why they changed the title. And the couple in the first book is also in this book. It's like you don't need to know their story to read this one, but it definitely adds to it. And so this is the brother. So good. So our main character's name, I think it's Alice. Yes, Alice. I feel like I had multiple Alices. Maybe not. But Alice and her grandma go, because her grandma like broke a hip, so they go to this cottage that they used to stay at and spend the summer there. And there's a really sexy neighbor who first she does not get along with, and then they just start spending time together. This is a perfect summer romance. It was perfect the whole way through. This was a book that like when I sat down, like I stopped reading it because I had to like go live my life. And I was like, I cannot sit down to read it again until I can just finish it, because you just want to immerse yourself in this like, oh, and especially like growing up going to cottages like this. Oh, oh, I just want to be in a cottage on a boat. I just want to like go to be like all the stuff. So perfection. The romance is great. There's a little bit of smut. There's a checklist that she's trying to complete, which I love a checklist. 5 stars. 5 stars. Amazing. Then I read, so this is the book that I got my punctuation in the title. Don't Let the Forest In. This is something that Lexi from Alexandra Roslin, one of my favorite booktubers, she said she loves this book. She has a little more of like a gothic classic taste than I do, so I did not think this was going to be my favorite book ever. It was good. It was a wild time. I feel like she also loves like very abstract things where I kind of like to know what's going on. So this was a little confusing, but I get the metaphor. So Andrew goes back to school. He goes to like a boarding school. His sister's being weird. His best friend / like he's very attracted to him, but he thinks he's asexual. His best friend Thomas is like being wild and also trying to stay away from him. Everyone's treating him weird, but he's also always been treated weird. And then these monsters start coming out of the forest and trying to murder them. And so they're killing these monsters, but these are monsters that like Thomas has drawn. So Andrew's like, stop drawing these monsters. Like, we're trying to get rid of these. Well, it's all a metaphor, and we find out what it is at the end. There were beautiful drawings in this book. I mean, horrifying because they're like monsters, but, and like, I mean, this book itself is absolutely gorgeous. Like the inside pages and everything. I gave that book, I think it was 3.75, maybe 4. But yeah, it was good. It kind of ends like, whoop. And then you kind of have to like guess what happens, which, yeah, she probably didn't want to be held to an ending is probably what happened. Then for another book club, we read This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. This was a journey book across America. So we start in an Indian school in Minnesota, and we end, I feel like we still end we end in St. Louis, Missouri. We spend most of our time in Minnesota. And for some reason, they like made up a river for them to be on. Like that didn't feel like we needed to make it up. Like there's enough rivers. You could have chosen a real one. So yeah, I gave that one 3.5 or 3.75. It was fine. Like it kept me listening. I don't know that I would have read it if I had a physical book. And yeah, it was an interesting book to discuss. We had lots of things to say. There were a lot of characters. There was a lot going on. Because there was also like a revival and people like, so like all the things that were happening in this time of, I think it was like the 1920s, I want to say. No, must have been 30s because I feel like the Great Depression like is like happening. So like there's the like revivals that are going on. There's Indian schools. There's like we're kind of gearing up for the World Wars, second one. Anywho, there's not much to say about it. That's why I got a 3.75. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. All right. This book. I got this as an add-on from Book of the Month because I had already chosen my Book of the Month. But this one I kept hearing about and seeing, and I am glad I got it. This is like, I don't know if you can see the cover, like ominous and creepy with like a lavish lifestyle going on. Like, okay, premise of the book. Our main character's name is Lily. She goes on a show called The Compound, which is kind of like a Love Island where like the girls all show up. So like the girls all show up, the guys show up, they like pair up. You have to like sleep in the bed with someone of the opposite gender in order to like still be in the game the next morning. So that's kind of like Love Island-y. What's different about The Compound is the girls like randomly show up. The guys are like set loose in the desert, and if they make it alive, they come. So very like ominous. Also, like the house is like trashed when they get there because it's just like left however the last cast left it. They're not allowed to talk about anything personal until they get to like, I think it's until they get down to 5 players. And they're doing little personal challenges on like screens, and they're like earning things. And they're also doing like group challenges to earn things. So the goal is to like make the compound better. So they get like a shed, and they get things to like fix their door, and so there's like producers watching them, but they never know like when they're gonna like intervene or what they're gonna do. And when things get boring, they intervene to try to make things more exciting. They try to get people to like fight. So there's not supposed to be violence until there's only like 5 left. And then you can do anything but kill someone. Like, it gets really dark. And yeah, like super interesting. Especially because like Lily's trying to just like get as many like sponsorships and deals as possible so that when she leaves, she like has a better life. And so then because people are doing these personal challenges, you never know like if somebody's talking to you because they really want to talk to you, or if they're talking to you because that was their personal prompt and they're going to get like a Swarovski crystal. Like, and it's like, it's high end things. It's not like, oh, I don't need a pen. And like they can like prompt that the producers to give them certain things. Like if you're like, oh, I really need like a notebook, I'd really love a notebook, then like maybe a notebook will be. It was interesting. 4.5. It dragged a little bit at the end, which is why I took a star off. Half a star. Otherwise, whew. I did not count that in my 5-star books, but that's my like 4.5 star. That was almost a 5. That was still so freaking good. So this is where like from here to the rest of the month is like actually kind of shocking how amazing it was. My friend Jamie has been trying to bully me into listening to Project Hail Mary for at least a year. This has been on my TBR for a long time. I don't read a lot of science fiction, but I have read Andy Weir before. So I read The Martian. I feel like Artemis, I think was one. So Project Hail Mary has been highly recommended. She told me that I absolutely had to listen to an audiobook, and I could not get my hands on an audiobook for free. So I ended up doing like a free Audible subscription so that I could listen. I was like, can I just get the physical book? And she's like, no, you have to listen to it. Well, I got like, it's like maybe like a third of the way through the book. And then it was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. And now I feel like I need to get my hands on the physical copy because I want to know how they took this like amazing thing in audio and put it into a physical book. Like, how does that translate? This is also being made into a movie. I forget when it's coming out, but Ryan Gosling is in it. So I did finish the entire book before I watched the movie trailer. And like, do I think they're going to ruin some things? Yes, but it really looks like they got like the tone and the seriousness of it right. And like, I'm very excited to see it on a screen because this book is amazing. So our main character wakes up on a spaceship, and the other 2 people with him are dead. So he does not remember like what's happening. He doesn't remember what his name is. So he has to like piece these things together while figuring out like where he is in space. And this poor little guy, he was a high school teacher. Like he has a doctorate in like physics, and like biology, something that like actually does translate to space travel. But something happened in his life, so he started teaching children. So like that's where his passion is. That's what he's doing. And now he's awake in a space shuttle and he doesn't really know what's happening. So it's like current day and like past. So as he like pieces together his memories, and he has like his goal is to save Earth because the sun is heating up. Oh my gosh. Like literally the highest stakes there is, like your entire species, your entire planet. And he's just alone on this spacecraft. It's so good. 5 stars. The audiobook was amazing. like, you just, like, fall in love with these characters. And it was, like, scary at the same time because the stakes are so high. And also, like, global warming. Scary. 5 stars. 5. Then I finally picked up Shield of Sparrows. Honestly, I was nervous to pick this up because it is so hyped up, and, like, romantasy is my genre. I love it. This was so good the entire way through. This book edition is gorgeous. I didn't even, like, order anything special. It's so beautiful. Our main character is kind of, like, her sister is being trained to be, like, the princess who's going to, like, take over the kingdom and marry for wealth, and she has a little brother who will probably, like, take over her actual dad's kingdom. And she's just, like, this spare running around. She's dyeing her hair so that she, like, I don't know, her stepmom just wants her to dye her hair. She can't be a redhead, which I thought that was weird. I thought that would tie in a little bit more. And there are all these monsters. And the monsters are getting a little wild. So the delegation comes to, like, pick up her sister because she's getting married, like an arranged marriage. She's going, there's this, the Shield of Sparrows is this ancient magical treaty where people from 2 different kingdoms have to marry, and that keeps everyone from fighting. And when they're there, they're like, no, we're taking her instead. And so they take Odessa. So Odessa is not trained for the things that she's supposed to be trained for. And she ends up in this other land with people that won't tell her anything, and they're just kind of, like, entertaining her, but she has no power. She's not really making, like, relationships. There's this one guy that is bothering the crap out of her with his magic, and she's supposed to kill him. And, like, her dad sends her on this secret mission to kill this guy and find something else. And she's like, you didn't train me because you didn't think I was worthwhile, so I have no idea what's going on. So it is, like, the more she finds out, the more relationships she has. Oh, there's a few twists in here that are so good. And there's definitely got to be a second one because this one just ends. And it's very good. I feel like right when you think it's going to zig, it zags. I liked it a lot. A lot. And it felt different than other, like, I don't feel like I've read that book before, which is exciting. Okay. I listened to The Coven. This is one that I had, like, pulled out of my mason jar of books when I was doing, like, Summerween, but didn't get around to it. But it also felt like something I was interested in. It's a very spooky cover. And the beginning of the audiobook is, like, trigger warnings, human sacrifice, and all this, like, dark romance, which the trigger warnings are, like, well, spoiler, man. First of all, like, I didn't know there was going to be a deep, dark romance in here. I figured there'd be witches. And, I mean, there's bones on the front. It feels like you could assume they might sacrifice someone. But, so our main character's name is Willow. Her mom died and, like, hid her away from the magical community. Well, now her mom actually died. And so people now know that Willow exists. She's the end of one of the magical bloodlines. So the Coven is like, you have to come. We need your power. But Willow was raised in the old ways. And so she sees, like, how corrupt the Coven is now and is trying to, like, undo some of their magic. Big power struggle. Everybody has different allegiances, different things that they're trying to accomplish. We have dark romance. I feel like it's an age gap romance when you're, like, a vampire, right? Like, when you're hundreds of years old and the girl's 17. That's an age gap romance, right? And it says something about, like, wishy-washy consent. I don't really feel like that was there. Like, it felt like there was always consent. But there's, like, one of the people is just, like, animated bones walking around. It's interesting. You don't really know what's going on. So I gave that one 3.5. I already have Cursed, like, on my TBR. That's the second one because I do want to know where this goes because we ended on a really big, like, cliffhanger. yeah, it was like the spice was good, the story was good. I just don't know like where it's going. It wasn't the best, you know. And then I ended the month with such a good book. This is so good. These Summer Storms by Sarah MacLean. This was my July 2025 book of the month, and I read it in the month of July because this has been so hyped, and rightly so. Our main character's name is Alice. There's 2 Alices in 2 of my summer books. I knew it. So Alice Storm, her dad is a billionaire who died. She is requested to go back to the family island for like the inheritance and all these other things. Well, when she gets there, her siblings, okay, so her and her dad had a falling out. So she has not been home in 5 years. When she gets there, everybody else in her family gets letters with like almost like challenges of things they need to do for the week in order for them to inherit this billions of dollars. And Alice doesn't get a letter. She's only told that she needs to stay on the island for the week. And she's like, no, I don't want to stay. And then they're like, yeah, but if you don't stay, then nobody gets, like, it's a, like, zero sum. Like, everyone needs to do it or nobody gets it. And we deal with, like, lots of different family dynamics. There's, like, you hear people's backstories. Every one of these children is incredibly messed up. You hear what happened with Alice. There is a romance in this, too. Some spice. It's really good. I liked it a lot. 5 stars. Couldn't put it down. I mean, it's not a thin book, but it reads so fast. I felt like this was a mix of the Inheritance Games and We Were Liars. So, like, rich people problems, trying to inherit, and, like, doing, like, challenges and not knowing, like, where it's gonna end. So, that was my July books. I loved them. Can August keep up? Probably not. I don't think so, but I'm excited. In August, I'm trying to read more books like on my Kindle because there's all these ebooks that I forget exist. So I want to try to get some of that backlog, and I want to read all of my Jennifer Lynn Barnes that I have like queued up. So Inheritance Games, which I'm in the mood for after these summer storms. Gotta catch up on those. And then there's one in another series that I've had that I want to read as well. And I don't know if there's really August releases that I'm super excited about. I am overwhelmed with books, with the need and the want to read books. There's some good ones. Okay, I will see you at the end of August.